There are few presidents in U.S. history that find themselves associated with trains more than Harry S. Truman. The 33rd President of the United States not only rode trains on a regular basis, key pieces of his legacy involved trains. For example, in 1948, the incumbent president took a 30,000-mile trip across America in what was known as the Whistle Stop Train Tour. Truman spoke to large crowds in towns all over the country. And who could forget this famous photograph, taken at Union Station in St. Louis? The president seen holding up the front page of a newspaper showing Dewey defeats Truman. This famous picture taken on the back of a train. Truman's train days started long before he became president. As a senator, he traveled from his hometown of Independence, Missouri, to Washington, D.C. on the Missouri River Eagle passenger train. And for 20 years, the car that the future president used on his trips brought up the rear of the train. And here it is.
Harry Truman would ride in this car. He lived in Independence, Missouri. While he was a senator and vice president, he would ride in this car from Kansas City to St. Louis. There is a drawing room within this particular car that would be reserved as his private office for his secretary. He and his secretary when he would, travel across the state. It was originally built in 1940 by the American Car and Foundry Company as a train set, which was unique at the time. A train set was a train where the locomotive, the baggage cars, the coach, the dining car, and then the observation car were all designed to be one continuous unit. It wasn't a train that just had a mismatch of different cars, and with that then came the color scheme, the design, everything was consistent throughout that train set. And this particular car would have been the observation car. It would have been the last car on that set. It would have been connected to the dining car, and it was more of a lounging area.
It included air conditioning, a public address system, a private dining room, reclining seats, and an enclosed observation room instead of the traditional open observation platform.
Of course, there's ashtrays that correspond with every seat. You had smoking stands in the back.
The car was retired back in 1963, and shortly thereafter donated to the Museum of Transportation in St. Louis. For years, the train was open to the public, exposed to weather, and for lack of a better word, trashed. Kids climbed on chairs, visitors freely touched everything from the seats to the windows, and before long, this piece of American history was in complete disarray.
And it was in really bad shape. And the museum received grant money from the Missouri Pacific Historical Society, the NRHS, the Union Pacific Foundation to restore this car. We went around originally and documented everything with photographs, just so that we would have a blueprint to work from as we started to put it all back together.
All of the car's exterior paint had to be stripped, the seats were all removed, and everything inside was completely gutted. Like a needle in a haystack, finding matching window panes or other replacement parts for a train car built in the 40s was quite a challenge.
Details that really gave us the most trouble were finding things like bathroom windows and the window weather stripping and the gasketing and things like that. The little things that you kind of wouldn't really consider until you really start to look for stuff like that. Then that became like this ongoing challenge.
The entire car was rewired, carpet and windows replaced, light fixtures cleaned and restored to their original look, and perhaps most impressive, the exterior was repainted to a perfect match. It took 4 years to accomplish, but the museum, along with a dedicated team of talented volunteers, cosmetically restored the Missouri Pacific Parlor and Observation car.
From the painting to the woodworking to even upholstery work done with volunteer labor. We're pretty proud of that, and the guys who worked on it were pretty proud of it as well.
Ordinary people who shared their time and talent, all in an effort to bring this piece of American history back to life. The car is closed to the public now, but don't worry, the lights are still on and you can look in the windows and peek inside where a president once rode the rails.